How's it going, everybody? It is Andrew from MAO Magic, and today I have the Anova Precision Cooker, which is basically just a sous vide machine, a water circulator, heater. It's sous vide. It's basically one of the first ones which came from a Kickstarter campaign. This is the second generation model, but basically it's a way to bring more of a professional cooking technique, sous vide, into the home and make it more affordable. The sous vide cooker that they sell, the Precision Cooker, is the lower end of the two models that they have, and it retails for about $179, a little bit less if you can find it on sale. The sous vide cooker comes in two basic parts. You have the holder, the clamp bracket right here, which just simply has a couple different adjustments on it. You have the main adjustment here, which holds it onto the pot or bucket or whatever it is that you're using to cook in, basically, as well as the smaller one here on the top, which is going to tighten it on. So when you put this on your actual sous vide cooker, you can tighten this up, which will make this, circle a little bit smaller and hold it on there nice and firm, so nothing's going to go anywhere when you have this thing cooking. It kind of has like a soft touch feeling on the outside of it, similar to the rest of the body on the actual cooker itself. So it does have a decent feel to it, not too. It's a clamp. Let's move on. So here's the actual cooker itself. You have the screen in here as well as a few buttons on the top. You have a control here to change the temperature of your sous vide bath. We have a couple little foam wraps on here as well as a cord. The cord is not bad. It worked for me, but I can definitely see if there's not like an outlet by your kitchen that this cord may be a little bit short for you. The button here on the front glows. You'll see when we actually go to turn it on. Again, it has that soft touch finish on the top, and the bottom here is metal. You have the blade on the bottom area, which is kind of directs the water flow when you have this in your water bath. The first thing I noticed when I unboxed my item here is that it's quite large. It's a lot larger than I expected it to be based on the photos and everything else that I had done doing research. This looked a little bit smaller, not like it's a bad thing, but it is quite big and it is going to be a little bit harder to store because the container that actually comes in is not very storable because it's even larger than the unit itself. But so that may be consideration if you got a small kitchen and you have another gadget to kind of throw around. So we have our clamp on. Let's go ahead and put into our water bath here. So you can use a big pot. We have something like this. There are markers on the unit itself, so you can measure like the minimum and maximum water that this does have to have. A lot of people use like the clear hard plastic tubs. That's very popular for sous vide cooking. Basically just something so there's enough room. The water has to be circulating around and keeping that even temperature on whatever product you're cooking. So you do need to make sure you have enough room in there and that water can circulate and you don't have that like getting jammed up. You don't want the bag to like go into your sous vide cooker and stop the water from spinning or something like that. So you can use the controls here on the device itself, but we're actually going to turn on the Bluetooth and connect this to the Anova Sous Vide Cooking app. So once we go ahead and open that up, this is a free app. It has a lot of different recipe ideas, but simply clicking on that Bluetooth button allows you to connect your sous vide cooker so you can set timers, set the temperature, and kind of control this from your smartphone. So you don't have to keep going up, how's my sous vide cooking, how much is left, set a timer separately. This can handle the temperature and the timer all kind of within the app, as well as give you some great recipes to go ahead and try out. Now, I am going to link to the recipe that we do here. We're going to have a video on how to make this filet, but basically for our review purposes, we're going to do a simple filet with some thyme and some butter here in the bag. When you put this in here, we need to seal it and get rid of all of the air. There's a few different ways you can get the air out using a vacuum sealer. It's very popular, but in this case, we're going to use the water displacement method. So we're going to simply put this underwater, and it's going to push all that air to the top, and once all the air is out, we're just going to seal it. It may not get as much out as like a vacuum sealer. You could use a straw if you would like. Put a straw in there, leave it open a little bit, and just suck all the air out, the remaining air. That also works, but we're just going to go ahead and water displacement method, get the water out of the bag. We're going to fold it over here and strap it, clamp it, attach it to the opposite side of the sous vide cooker so this isn't floating around. We want it to be able to circulate. We don't want it to get caught and block the water flow. So we're going to attach this to the side of the pot. For our filet, we are going to be doing about good medium rare, which depending on who you ask is 134 to 136 degrees, right in the center, nice and pink. Depending on your steak thickness, it could take about an hour and a half, but you can leave it up to there to 3 to 4 hours without overcooking. Now, if you're wondering why should you sous vide something, and this is a very popular image that I see going around. On the left is a steak cooked sous vide, and on the right, cooked using the grill. It turns out fine, but you have a lot more overcookedness in there. You don't have an even temperature, as well as a lot of moisture loss. So that's one of the main reasons why people like to cook sous vide, but it's not just for fillets. Obviously, you can cook even veggies, chicken, fish is phenomenal in here. But once it's finished, it's going to come out looking kind of like this. It's an odd grayish brown color, not exactly appetizing. So what you do is you sear it in a hot skillet or on the grill, and then when you slice it open, you have a perfectly even temperature in the middle. You're going to have that perfect 135 degrees all the way through the steak with just a little bit of caramelization on the outside. It cooks it very nice and even, and you don't lose a lot of moisture here. Obviously, if this would have been cooked on a grill, it may have looked a little bit smaller as you lost a lot of juices. You can then go ahead and top it off with a little bit of pan sauce, adding some wine to that thyme, butter, olive oil that we had there, and gives it a nice presentation if that's what you're looking for. Now, this is a very easy technique to master because you cannot overcook your food, so it's very appealing to a lot of home chefs. But I can't guarantee it's going to make everything you do taste perfect, and it does take a lot longer. If we go ahead and look at the pros and cons of the Anova Sous Vide cooker, pros, it is very cost effective at $179. It's not too expensive compared to what it used to be. You can set timers and the temperature from inside the app, and it has a great looking design. On the flip side, if we take a look at the cons, it has a short cord, which may be good for some people and bad for others. It is still quite large, which is not going to be super easy to store, especially in kind of that round tower shape that it has. And the last one is it does have a much longer cooking time. You cannot simply cook steak immediately when you want it. You do have to let it cook for, quite some time, up to, hour and a half, 2 hours. If you have any questions at all, make sure you throw them up in the comments. Check out our recipes. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time.